Alright, so this is for a John Deere L100, which is the same thing as the L110, 120. I'm rebuilding the deck spindles, tensioner, and idler. The tensioner pulley was actually what's bad, and the idler pulley was bad, causing the belt to jump off. But I got the whole new kit off of Amazon, about 8 to 10. Comes with both spindles with grease fittings. Here's one of them before I put it on. Comes with new blades, belt, idler pulley, tensioner pulley, and then each one of these has the grease fittings, and came with new bolts. And to take this apart, I used air curl on all the bolts here, and I sprayed all these bolts, or these nuts, and I also ordered these reinforcements made for the John Deeres. These are bad about cracking the deck out right here, but you can get these reinforcements that goes here to bolt your spindles on. It makes them a lot sturdier. This is the part number for them. You can also get these on Amazon. Well worth it because it saves your deck. A lot of these decks will split through here because of it's only bolted to the sheet metal. The spindles are bolted through sheet metal. There's no reinforcement. You just put these on here, it strengthens it. And sometimes these decks will crack. This one has a small crack, but you can weld these up. It's mostly just a paint crack on this one, but if they're too cracked, you'll have to weld those up. But these both come off in a 14mm nut. You take those off, slide that out to put your new on. This one you can see the wobble in it, and it's not making as much noise. I've got oil on it, but it was making a lot of noise. But I got new those. And this kit also comes with your new blades. And you can see when I took this one off, one of the bolts broke in it, but that's okay because this kit comes with new bolts, and I use copper anti-seize on these to keep them from sticking. I also use copper anti-seize on these bolts to keep them from sticking, to hold the blade on. But if you use these reinforcement rings, you have to have bigger, longer bolts, which they come with. The reinforcement rings come with the new bolts. They're longer, with lock washers, whole lot better design. But they, like I say, they come with your reinforcements. So if you break some of the bolts in the original spindles, like I did, that mount here, you're okay because your new spindles come with the bolts. Or if you put the new reinforcements on, they come with the bolts. And what I use before I bolt anything like down on here, I'll wire brush and clean this real good, and I spray Zinc-It. This is it's like kind of spray Galvanize. I'll spray all this in here to keep it from rusting. On the bottom side of the deck, I'll wire brush this, clean it, and spray it with this also. Just to keep it from rusting. Any of these areas that your paint's starting to come apart, you can wire brush them down and spray it with that Zinc-It. It does really good. And be sure when you put your blades on. A lot of people get this wrong. These are the blades that come in the kit. I think this kit was $110. And it was here in 2 days. Let me open this blade bag. Make sure when you mount your blades under the deck that they're facing like this. You want the wings up and the blade facing down. A lot of people put them on like this, and that's backwards. They won't cut. But you want them on there like this. So if I was going to put it on this deck, it would go under the deck just like that. But really good quality stuff. It's not John Deere name brand. This is 810. Now the reinforcement rings are John Deere brand, but the rest of this stuff is 810. I use a battery power impact gun on these. This is my setup, Bauer. It's got the 10mm to take these loose, and to get the main spindle nut loose, I used a breaker bar. On top, this is a 7/8. Turn it, and to hold the blade still, I just put something between the deck right here and the blade. I just stick it right through there and let it bump up against the edge of my tailgate. You can use any kind of pry bar. Let it bump against the blade and then against the tailgate, and pry against it, or your workbench, or whatever you may be using to get this nut loose. Then use the impact gun to put it back together. You want it nice and tight. So hopefully that will help.